Welcome back to the studio. Warhammer Man here, and today we're going to be taking a look at something I created for Kill Team Arena. I call it the 2.0. And you're probably wondering right now, like, what the heck is in that box? Kill Team Arena. I already got it. Rather than me try to explain it to you, I'm just going to go ahead and show you. So, the whole idea is to still keep it all confined within the arena box itself. Um, but to essentially have like some three-dimensional terrain. So we still have our book and the board that we're going to be using for this set specifically. But then we also have our 3D terrain and for storage purposes, so you could have like tokens and dice and everything. These are just hollow. They're actually made out of cardboard, and you could like basically use a pattern and make these yourself if you wanted to. Um, but the whole design purpose is that you essentially have like a 3D kill team arena set so that you could play with your walls, with your doors, all your pieces and everything. And then like the cool thing about this is that like you can get Kill Team Arena for like $75 or whatever, and then it's all like self-contained inside of here. You have basically like the whole board with all of the terrain. You could fit, like I said, you can't really fit like your kill team necessarily in here. You might want like one of those little foam like cases or whatever, but you could fit like all of this stuff from the box set inside of here, and then essentially like play your game. And of course, like now all this is in the way, so I'm just gonna move it for a sec here so I can set this board up, and then we can just kind of go from there. There you go. Alright. Give it a try now. Alright, so basically, when you get this set, it's going to come with, all your doors. And then it's got like a couple of barrels and like just some interactive pieces, just to kind of give it like a little bit of a three-dimensional look to it. And I understand that like now with the Zone Mortalis set out and everything, like that's really really cool, and that's probably ideal for a lot of people, but I understand that that's not necessarily like probable for everyone, because that set is expensive. I mean, it's a lot of money, I understand, and then also it's going to take like a long time to get that set painted up and everything. As where with something like this, you basically only have to paint up like a couple of crates. I'm pretty sure these go in the middle like that or something. But on this one image in the book, it like doesn't really clearly show. And I'm not going like crazy with the exact placement of these things. I'm just going for the rough placement. Just so we can kind of get the point. And then the barrels go right here. So yeah, that's our basic setup. That's how it would come, like, out of the box if you just went and bought it. And then essentially like what we added in was all these little pieces to give it like the full on three-dimensional look. So it actually goes in between where like all the walls are, and then blocks out each one of the corridors and everything. So you get the full on three-dimensional effect of the game board, like how it's intended to. And I think this helps a lot of people, like visual, like people or people that are like newer to the game. Once you get used to the boards and everything, you start seeing it like for what it is. It's like sort of like solving a maze or something like that. Like the first time you go through the maze, it might take you like 5 minutes, you know. But then if you go back through and solve the same maze over and over again, you're gonna be like faster each time because you learn all the little tricks and dead ends and everything. But this way, you get like the full on Kill Team Arena setup, and I think this is like how it's meant to be played. And then the cool thing is like as you open the doors, you can just like put them off to the side like that, or completely remove them or whatever. And you know, you basically get the point now. That's the gist of it. You see like the whole idea of it and what, you know, what it essentially amounts to. It's obviously like a really cool setup, and you know, I think it's a type of thing too, where because like anybody can essentially have this, like super easy. All it is, like I said, now, so to avoid having to like paint or whatever, you're basically just taking like there's these little pieces. It's like the box that you get from No Fear, and they have like it's meant to be folded up into like this square piece, and then essentially like it acts as a little piece of terrain. So all I did was I took a couple of these and then I cut them out in the specific pattern shape, and then I just taped them together like the boxes so that you could get this. But what I'm going to do now that I've done the whole setup and everything for the board, I'm going to open them back up, and then I'm going to put little tabs on the places so you could essentially like get this pattern. Now, because of copyright law and everything, I can't actually like photocopy Games Workshop's like things or whatever, but you could take your pattern then, and then you could cut out the pieces you need, and you could make this exact board. Or if you don't have these things laying around, you could print off like any pattern you want on the internet, like any actual like design pattern for like indoor corridor or walls or whatever, and then you could essentially just like use the pattern that I provide to make each one of these pieces. And then you see that if you just make them exactly like this and everything, they all fit right back in that Kill Team box. And like it's super portable. And like I said, you could basically get that Kill Team box is like between like, you know, $75 or whatever, and you could get a Kill Team for probably around like $50. You know, maybe a little case and everything. So when it's all said and done, you know, you can basically get into this game and have a nice, portable, fun setup, completely self-contained with all your dice, your counters, everything. And then all you have to do to paint this whole setup is just paint up like your little barrels and the stuff that actually comes in the set. And then because you're using like the print cardboard stuff, like it saves you so much time, but you still get like the full like super cool effect of it. And like, you know, if you didn't like anything about this, you could obviously change it. But you know, if you wanted to paint it up to match, maybe you incorporate like, you know, the same colors of like the steel or like, you know, the red in some of the little pieces of the board, and it fully matches. And now this in the book, this board has like 2 different missions for it, and there's actually like 2 reversible boards, so it's 4 total boards. So this setup that I already made only fits like this specific board, so it's good for 2 of the missions in the arena. But I also made like another set that fits for 2 of the other boards. So I basically have like half of the arena set done, but the other set uses the Sector Sanctoris, like or Sector Imperialis like ruins. So it's not as cheap as this. You know, you'd have to buy a bunch of like ruin sprues. It's super cool and gives like an awesome effect and everything. But again, this one is really cool because it's free. You can basically go on, get these patterns, and you could print them out and then draw on it. You could put like insignia of your armies on it. You could get pre-printed like bricks or walls or like the inside of a spaceship, like whatever you want it to look like basically. And you're just cutting out the patterns in that and then just taping them all together. And like even creating this only took me a few hours. So if you were going through and just duplicating it with the patterns, like it would take you almost no time at all. So well, there you have it, guys. Another cool little unique creation from Warhammer Man Studios. I understand with like the new Zone Mortalis stuff out and everything, like, you know, the 3-dimensional stuff is not quite as cool if it's made out of paper. But in this case, I thought this was super cool. I think it really gives like an awesome effect to the game. And like, you know, it's really cheap too. So I want to provide not only like all these cool conversion ideas, if you have like the exact bits and the exact stuff and like you're super like skilled, but I also want to provide like some more like entry level stuff. Like, you know, you could do this with your kid. Like this is entry level like crafting work, you know, with a pair of, scissors, a little bit of tape, and some patterns, you can literally create what we have here today, guys. And not to float my own boat, but I think this is pretty awesome. And for me, I'm a very visual person. This makes Kill Team Arena 100 times better because you see around like the walls and where you need to go, and it makes it clear, like I like line of sight and what's blocking what and which corridor goes down which way. And I just think this gives so much more to the game, and the fact that you're able to fit it all in the box that it came in, so you have like this super portable set, means you could like take it over to a friend's house without lugging like 20 cases and a bunch of stuff and worried about if this breaks or that breaks. So if something gets damaged here, you can just make a new one or repair it with a little bit of tape. So there you have it, guys. Warhammer Man Studios with another unique creation, one of a kind, Kill Team Arena 2.0, the way the game should be played. And if there's people out there that are interested in these patterns and stuff, I will take the time and provide them to the community. But again, I got to hear like response from people and understand that it takes a lot of effort for me not only to like show this stuff off and demonstrate it, which I love doing, but to go back through and like cut these back up and make the patterns and provide that for the community. It is like a lot of work and a lot of extra time. So if there's like only a couple people that are interested, I'm not going to waste my time doing it. But if there's like a legitimate interest in stuff like this, if you share it to your kill team groups or communities or whatever, and people seem like they're into it, like I will definitely provide these. So, well, there you go, guys. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm signing off.